going to close the special meeting on the interviews and the hiring and open our regular council meeting for January 2nd, 2023. We've already done the invocation of the Pledge of Allegiance, obviously, so do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make the motion to approve.
Second?
I second.
Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Mayor's report.
I apologize for being out last month, but I couldn't help.
We're just glad to see you back.
Yeah. I'll go to surgery, I don't know when, but it'll be in Gainesville at Shands, and everything will be all right. And mayor's report. Talked to Mr. Harris, he's waiting on me to get through with surgery about the parking lot at the ball field. And I'm going to lose my voice. Jason, you want to tell them what they're doing at the parking lot at the top of the hill?
Yeah, I can. I didn't told Miss Glenn, she already knows. So what the high school is doing is the parking lot in between the two fields, our rec and the high school, they're having issues with handicap for the high school. So because we own most of that parking lot, they're gonna take down the top of that parking lot, and it actually benefits us. They're gonna build the high schools up, they're clearing trees out there on the school's property, and they're gonna build it up and redo ours and put the lights up too. So that's basically what they're doing. I mean, they're not destroying ours, it's just making it, actually making it way better. It'll give us a lot more parking too for like 4th of July and stuff too. So that way y'all know.
And the city has no money in it.
Yeah, we don't have, it ain't costing us nothing, we don't even.
That's a good thing.
I talked to Dale Long today, our engineer, for the grant for Yellow Jacket Drive. One thing I did not know is just from this pavement, new pavement out here to the far end, nothing in front of City Hall is in that grant. But that's the reason the way it was wrote.
So it's gonna go from here around?
Right there around is the worst part.
Yeah, that is the worst part.
Yeah. Should have the drawings within the next 2 weeks. He's waiting on Geotech for that. I'm gonna talk to him about wells 1 and 2 and the pavement of Church Street. Waiting on the state to approve the environmental study. Then he'll meet with the council to talk about the cost. I asked him to send the equipment list and specs for us to go ahead and look at and review. Let Jimmy look at them and review them. Ask me to go ahead and we can get a price on that so we'll know. The way the grant's set up, well, number 1 and number 2 is priority. Takes priority over the paving. He said that he don't know how much money will be left for the paving. We're reaching out to other sources to find out the money for that paving to get it all paved. I've been talking to Miss Shirley Yates. She owns a house on Yon Avenue at the very end of Yon Street, back where I lived in that house for about 9 years. She cannot get to her house. You can't get a fire truck back there if her house burns down. She's been threatened by a certain person, which I asked her why she didn't call the sheriff. And the neighborhood over there looks like no other way to say it except crap. There's junk everywhere. I've got photos I'm gonna leave here for the council or for anybody that wants to look at them. And they're kind of self-explanatory why she can't get in her driveway. It's bad. You've got also in that neighborhood in the last month and a half, there's been 3 people arrested for meth. They went in one house. I've been talking to the sheriff, doing anything I can to help him out. But there's also 3 little youngins live in that neighborhood. Well, they can look at it.
I drove mine, looked at it the day she called.
Well, we got him to move that before, but it's just
It's just-
a never-ending war with him.
We got to do something. And then the lawyer, what can we do?
Not much right now without,
What does the council, why can't the council be the code enforcement?
you can appoint anybody to serve as your code enforcement
Why,
officer.
can't the council, I mean, they're gonna make the final decisions.
Oh, yeah, I still ever do
Can the mayor go out and take the pictures and write a letter up and bring it to the council?
So if you all are sitting as a code enforcement board, you'll have to get a second attorney to present those cases, because you basically take off your city council hat and you put on a code enforcement board hat, which you're allowed to do, but I can't be the attorney to the city council and also to the basically code board, which would be in the code board capacity. You're basically sitting in judgment. So just like you don't have prosecutor isn't on the same side as the judge, you can't have the same attorney serving the council, which would be prosecuting the case, and the code board. So you have that expense. And that's by statute.
Mr. Gary,
If we can lock up with the county, use their code enforcement officer.
They use a magistrate
Yeah.
for their hearings. Which we've talked to them about doing code enforcement before, but I want to say that the cost was pretty significant.
So what we gonna do?
It's been years though since I sat down.
Mr. Gary, you said when you spoke with her, has she contacted the sheriff's department about the driveway being blocked?
No.
Because the sheriff's department has had people move their vehicles here in town before.
This is junk, this is not vehicles.
Yes, he's got it piled
Yeah, but
up.
I'm saying because it's blocking the actual driveway to her accessing her house, I think the sheriff's department could do something immediately.
The sheriff's department gonna hire people to come in and remove that junk?
No, I'm saying, I
It's
think
in-
that
it's in
they
the way
would
to
go out
control.
and they made the same, I wanna say the same person move an RV before, that the sheriff's department went out and made them move it.
But she's been threatened now.
Now, I don't know how long ago when she got threatened, but we've got to do something. I mean, I'm just as guilty as anybody sit up here and we haven't done anything. But it's got to come to an end. If I have to put that in the county paper, every place in Vernon in the county paper show it, I'm going to. I want to break, this council gets paid more than any council in the county. We're the dirtiest city in the county. It needs to change. We owe our citizens. Our property value is zero right now. Our property value, what's going on over there hurts everybody's property value.
Because there's that one nice house in the back.
But now you
It's
got
right
one
in
nice
between.
trailer in the back, double wide. It's not jumped up, we got 3 small youngins.
I know that we have went and met with the county before and tried to work something out, and at the time, they were having their own issues. They didn't even have a code enforcement person, so maybe we need to see if things have improved.
Can you look and see if they adopted, looks like I did a revised ordinance in 2019.
What do you mean?
Code enforcement, see if they have adopted. I don't have an executed version.
Michelle,
Yes.
I know in the past, we got copies of the ordinance as far as the junk and all, and on the side roads and all. Where's the city stand? I know the sheriff's department's involved, in any situation, just like the trucks on the road over there. But do we need to revise the policy we have and where the sheriff's department can do something to it? Because the thing is, it's not just back here. It's the junk trailer when you turn right here at the dollar store. That trailer's been sitting there 15, 20 years plus. Then you go right down the main street and highway, they just 4-lane. You got junk on the right side, right across my road, right across my house. It's packed up on the side of the main road. The city, I'm with Gary, we're gonna have to step in. Whatever we got to do. The city might have to spend some money, but we have, like Becky said, tried to get the county involved and get code enforcement, and it's never worked. We ain't got nowhere. We haven't cleaned up nothing since I've been here in 14 years. We hadn't got none of it cleaned up.
Well, Candace was there at the meeting as well. At the time, we talked, and we've all talked about before, the city trying to do it, that's happened before, and that doesn't work. It's a big expense and it doesn't get anywhere. So when we reached out with the county before, the issue was the expense that they were having, plus they couldn't keep anybody. But that may have changed because that's been a year and a half
Or two.
or two.
Yeah.
So that it may be to where we could meet with them, and I know that we've discussed it before, and our attorney said that we would have to update some ordinances, and we'll have to go along with what the county has set in order to have any kind of agreement with it.
So it looks like in 2019, y'all at least considered the ordinance. The ordinance has a number. I don't have a copy of a signed version of it, but it was 2019-225. And in that ordinance, that authorized the Code Enforcement Board as well as in the alternative, a special magistrate procedure, and provided that the mayor, a city council person, a city clerk, or any other employee or officer of the city to enforce the codes, that they would be able to write up the citation and then bring the violation to either the Code Enforcement Board or to the magistrate, however y'all opted to do that. So if that was approved, then your enforcement procedure is there. The issue that the county had with us is that we don't actually have a code, but our ordinances are historically all over the place. So we have provisions in ordinances that are inconsistent with others.
There's stuff in there that can't be
It was
enforced.
really confusing. And so the county wanted the city to codify their ordinances and to adopt similar provisions for property maintenance. That's what the county has. We never got into that.
Why can't we do that in the next workshop, go ahead and get it done?
Well, I think we have to have another meeting with the county. We have to get
No,
what they want.
I know tomorrow what they want.
Is there a public health department in our county government? See, because in most places, if you call the health department, they will come in and tell them they gotta clean it up or they'll tear it down. And they give them so much time.
So
That's a rat's
the
nest.
county building inspector has the authority to condemn
Yeah,
structures, and that they may not be doing a lot of that. I don't know how often they'll interact with that office, but they do have that authority. So condemnation is a little different than code enforcement. But some of these properties may need to be reported to those building officials so they can look at whether that, it is appropriate. But we use a special magistrate in Chipley. We just did I think it was an RFQ, and had a law firm out of Tallahassee that applied for that. I think they're $175 an hour. But that process is actually working really, really well. It's nice having someone who's not in the community because they don't have as much difficulty with telling folks that they have to follow the rules. There's just not a lot of hard feelings. We don't know anybody there.
So it's like a contract person that basically does it.
Like a hired judge. Yeah.
Well, on a shorter note, if we could get the sheriff's department to make contact with them, and obviously you can see that you can't get to the driveway, there should be able to, they made a move an RV before, so they should be able to direct you to move that.
The person that, who you think it
It
is?
ain't been over.
It's Hezekiah Adams, John.
It's on his property.
No, he doesn't live there
He doesn't
anymore
live there
now.
anymore, that's his job.
His mama's house, but he lives in his old house now. He's back down there. But it's his stuff.
His job.
Is
So
the answer.
It's
the
on
lady-
his property. It ain't on the city's property.
it's on the city.
It's all over the city property.
The lady that
In the road.
Yeah.
lives at the end of that road can't get through there because of the stuff. She doesn't live there, but she can't get to her actual piece of property.
There's light poles piled up down there too.
Fire truck cannot get through there. I drove far as I could down there, and it shows in the picture my truck and all.
The problem is like the sheriff's department went down there one time, had to move stuff, and they done what they're supposed to do. 3 days later, it's right back.
Which
So
sheriff
that's-
was that?
Doing now?
Been a long time ago?
Yeah, it's been a while back.
Yeah. I'll call
I
it.
do know that our sheriff
Yeah,
had deputies go and make them move an RV.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll call
It wasn't
Yeah.
even blocking like what that
Yeah.
showed.
Yep.
So I think that they could probably make contact with him. And if he has moved, maybe he'll get it up and won't put anything else there. Because the driveway,
He just take it down to his house.
the driveway that they're talking about is at the very end of the pavement on the right. So you actually have to drive to the end of the pavement and take a right to get up into that property.
yeah.
The gate's on the outside.
Yeah, it's on the far right side.
Y'all on that end. That's the only two
There's
roads.
pictures of the gate that's circled. I didn't get pictures of everything down there, but I fixed the gate.
But even the road doesn't even look like a road anymore. It's grass.
It shows, there's pictures in there that show the paving and all.
Some other citizen, actually two, one came in today and then one had called about the stuff on 79 across from Joey's as well. And I did tell them that it would probably be brought up tonight because of this, I knew this other issue. So just so y'all know, there's other citizens that are concerned.
And just, if you take any of these complaints through the code enforcement process, state law does not allow those complaints to be anonymous anymore.
Okay.
So
I'm not worried about being anonymous.
just,
But that's on the tourist corridor. People drive through our town and we look like junk. And it's embarrassing.
if you'd like, I can get you copies of the invoices where Chipley's paid the magistrate, so you can get out of the spending.
Chipley's completely separate from, they're handling theirs separate from the county.
Yes. But you could do it yourself, you know. You could hold the hearings right here in the chambers. And I'm sure that you could get an attorney to come out of Panama if you didn't have anybody locally to file.
Steven said he could wear his code enforcement shirt and his badge and
Y'all can
go
definitely
talk to
find
everybody.
Well, and it may be a good idea too to contact Mr. Hawkins or somebody with the county again too, because their situation may have changed by now too. In the meantime, did she indicate that she was gonna contact the sheriff's department? Did she ask you to or what?
She didn't ask me to, and she didn't indicate.
Okay. Do you have anything else in the mayor's report?
There's one more thing I talked about, that's it. Candace is gonna cover some of that part.
Okay. Attorney's report.
So I did not get a chance to look at the Family Dollar fence, but the attorney emailed me last week and said that they had gotten approval from the neighboring owner to go out there. So he said that the fence was extended the way that it was because that was part of the agreement with the neighbor.
It's already fixed.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. Are y'all satisfied with how it looks?
It's made a big difference.
Yes.
I know that much now, whether or not the council's happy with it or not. They did call Paul. But it's much better. You can actually see now. They took off about that much.
Went back to that first poll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was all I had.
Thank you. Clerk's report.
Okay, sorry, I'm gonna do it quick. On the stripes for the parking lot, we did contact Gettler and Gettler. They have not gotten back with us yet, so we've still only got that one quote that I mentioned last time. Still waiting on the door locks. He was said he would get back up with me after the holidays, so I'm gonna give him another 2 or 3 days. The QuickBooks, I think is gonna get, I think we're going to QuickBooks this week. But just to let everybody know, because things weren't put in the last year-ish or so into Banyan and in the right places, it is a disaster. So the attorney thinks the best way might be to do the QuickBooks and then enter the entire 22 year into there, which is gonna take a few weeks if I only work on that. So just letting y'all know. But we're kinda at it's too much of a mess to straighten out,
Don't you want to QuickBooks?
so.
No.
I know that in the past, this has been approached to the council, so I'm approaching it again. The city doesn't take credit cards or debit cards, but we could through Square. It would cost nothing because you just tell it to charge the fee to the customer. And me and Miss Vicky both have a Square reader, so it wouldn't even cost the fee of that to do it. And we have city phones, and so you run it through the city phone when they come in. I don't know if Michelle thinks it's a good idea or not, but we have a lot of customers that come in, want to pay, then they can't pay. Then if they don't understand how to go online, or they don't have access, some people don't, I have to go in and do it for them. And I don't mind because that's my job to help people, but it also, then y'all are paying me to set up an account for them. So it would probably just be better to have a credit card swiper.
Well, I
That's
can
just
tell
my
you that the
thought.
online service that is provided, I won't use it.
It's a mess.
Well, and another thing is they do charge a fee, but it takes them sometimes 2 or 3 days. So before we do anything, Ms. Vicky has to check with them to make sure that we have all that. I know y'all have heard this time and time again, but I personally think that a credit debit card reader wouldn't cost the city a penny because we'll add the fee to the customer.
I don't have a problem with it.
No.
I have a Square too, I use it all the time. I think it would be a good idea, and I know that for me and a lot of other people, it'd be a lot easier to come in and do that than it is to go out. In my case, run to the ATM and grab cash, because I won't use that online service.
Does Square integrate with Banyan?
No, but she posts the payments in the Banyan and then so it would do it that way.
That would really be my only question, is whether there would be some kind of disconnect between because your Square payment's gonna come in at a different amount than what your software shows based on that fee.
But we do that with the sports engine too, where they register their kids online, there's a fee, and so that has to go in a different way also.
The only other thing would be whether y'all want to do a competitive procurement for that service. I know there are some banks locally that provide
That
credit card
service.
processing, so that would be up to you all. But it's not
Check
cost.
with our banks and see if they do.
Yeah, I call banks.
Okay.
Normally write that on there. Okay, then, I don't know if y'all, can't see that one. I don't know if y'all put any more thought into letting the gentleman that wanted to do the art classes once a week. There's a location and the Girl Scouts also. I think the art room, they could maybe use the, community center in the, where they do Zumba or wherever the community center is, but y'all would have to come up with an amount. And then the Girl Scouts, Miss Mary had recommended is it the literacy volunteers room, because they're not using it.
You really wouldn't have to move anything out there.
And so the art,
I just told him when y'all made it, yes, because he's doing it for profit, for himself. And so I told him there would be a rent, but I didn't have any idea what.
how often?
Once a week, but it would be after 5, so it couldn't be in this here.
Well, if he's using the community center, we're gonna have to charge the same thing that we charge everybody else in the community center. I would think.
Why would we charge Zumba?
Well, Zuma's does it differently. They are on a donation thing, whatever they get, they give part of to this, so it does not work out to the same as if you go rent the community center.
Excuse me. We don't have any written agreement with Zumba or know when they meet or?
They meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6, and they're usually done by 7:30. And I think that, and they give donations, so they don't have a set price that you have to pay to go to Zumba.
Well, I'm not trying to throw a wet blanket on anything. I believe that agreement took place before I got on here, because my concern is it's for profit and it's the community center, the same amount of lights and everything's being used over there as is everybody else that rents it. So I'd like to know what we're getting paid versus what it's costing. There's no written agreement. Like,
I mean, I haven't found an agreement since I've been here. I
Well,
just
you know,
I know that I was told there was an agreement for like 50% of the donations or something to that effect.
What do you get average?
Well, I just got the first one since I've been here, since I started mid-October. I think they probably do it maybe quarterly, and it was $480 something,
Maybe.
and that was for that quarter.
so $480 for 3 months.
How many hours?
They're there twice a week for about an hour and a half.
It's actually not
No, my only thing is most everybody that we go in any agreement with like that, we have something in writing.
So we want to get a contract with Zumba.
I mean,
Yes.
anybody that rents it, we make them fill out an application.
Yeah, and they may have done one 5 years ago, but I don't have it. It's Michelle Swartz. Michelle Swartz.
Also, just throwing this out there, maybe we can talk about it at a workshop. We need to be thinking about, if we talk about renting some of the rooms in the main hall. Maybe at the workshop, we put it on for the next workshop, we can discuss setting a price on what rooms we want to rent out, so when somebody asks about it, we've got something on paper already. We have to have Michelle draw something up. So, you know, we basically know, okay, well, we've got this room and we can go ahead and rent it and not have to wait.
Because we're gonna have this room from the food bank here by the end of the month, available for February 1st to rent.
And we have other rooms.
And then if we just get down there and clean up that other room and move the rec stuff out to his building y'all gave him to use, then that one, I mean, that's just a little bleach on the walls and stuff in there. So there'll be 2 rooms.
Yeah, put it on the agenda. Also, we need to, that's another thing. We have a written agreement that I think may be coming up on the fire department. We don't have any written agreement on, or we have not set or discussed anything on the gym,
With
the
Tim?
new gym.
I brought that up to him, probably 2 months ago. We need to come up, we got to come up with agreement.
The only time I remember that conversation, about that even being discussed, was when I first came on council in 19 or 20, and we were in the old room. There was a discussion that was brought up, and I remember Joey saying, figure out what you're gonna do, and then we'll set up, once it's done, we'll set up a lease agreement or a rental agreement or something, and it's not been discussed in any meeting I've been in since, so we need to, I think at the workshop, we could hash out a lot of this stuff and get some things lined up, so we're better prepared when somebody wants to come in and rent. And
Okay. I believe that he is open, 24-hour access. Do I need to tell him anything since we don't have a contract?
we don't have a contract, we don't have any insurance provided.
You're leaving dangerous on that one.
I can tell y'all, there's kids going in there too. When they have that open gym and they have practice in there, he has that weight room open. So just on the liability,
This is not the city's business,
Yeah.
this isn't correct, this is a private business on city property. And there's been no preparation or anything for this.
Do we want him to at least bring us some insurance, since he's got people going? Go ahead and get that at least while we're waiting on getting a contract.
I
Michelle?
don't think we have a written agreement with the Zumba
Okay.
either. I found it was on the agenda in 2018, but there was no agreement.
Was part of it that he was fixing the gym? and it wasn't of any cost to us, and that was part of why he was getting to use the gym?
It was just discussed. It was
Yeah.
not voted on. There was no prices set. There was nothing. And I'll be honest with you, that was so long ago until when the talks of the weight room going in over here, I thought it was for the rec kids, like the high school does. I thought that, and I've been corrected. And now it's all over Facebook and everywhere that you can sign up and you can come on, and it's 24/7, and we'll give you a code. There's not even bathrooms over there. We missed some communication. No, we've not missed it, it's just not happened.
There is one bathroom in that building, he said he was getting it fixed up.
He told me he was working on it, he doesn't have it. I think, I might be speaking out of place, what he said was, I really don't want to tell y'all. I think he was planning on maybe using the big gym bathrooms.
I think that a gym in town is a great thing. I love new businesses coming to town. I have no problem with that. The problem I have is that we are servants of our community, and this has not been handled correctly. And none of us, nor would we let anybody else, just take over a building without any kind of written agreement, without insurance, without making sure that everything was up and running. And we've all been at these meetings. I've missed 2 now in 3 years, and it's not been discussed. And now we're open. My concern is the liability for the city. Again, I think it's a wonderful thing to have a gym here. It's great. Any kind of business that we can get in here, to me, that's not hurting anybody is wonderful. My problem is with the lack of process and the liability that can fall on the
It's pretty
city.
straightforward to rent the facilities. He just needs his own liability insurance, and then if you're gonna charge him, then you determine who's gonna be responsible for the commercial sales tax. You'll have to admit that. Generally, he would have to
I
do that.
understand what I talked to him about. He was furnishing all the equipment. There would be no renting involved because he's repaired it, cleaned the building up, painted it, fixed it up.
If that's what you want to do, that's fine. We can document that. I don't have any recollection of an agreement.
Candace, put it on
That
the
doesn't mean it
website. Let's-
We got it. So back to the art room and the Girl Scout. Wait for a workshop to tell them a prize.
I would.
Y'all,
Okay.
you're gonna charge the Girl Scouts?
Not the Girl Scouts.
Okay.
They're
No,
they're not for profit.
The business that's wanting.
Do you know what
they
the
want to
cost
do
would
art.
be? Your electricity? Your air?
Cookies, no.
Not if he uses the community center. Well, I've asked Florida Power and Lights to please tell me what's what here, because we only get 2 bills for the whole thing. One's an A, one's a B.
And one of those has in the last month went up over $400.
Yes. Yes. So,
The time I've been out there in that building, it's not that clean, because it
They are out there
stays
every night.
cold all day.
The gym and the weight room is open almost every night except
well, I feel like it's
for-
probably lights and
Yeah.
all that happening there.
Yeah,
But,
that's gonna be it.
Yeah.
You gotta step up and pay that.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, so Girl Scouts could use the literacy volunteer room if they're out by 5. That wouldn't be a problem.
I don't have a problem with
Okay.
that.
Free cookies.
Okay. Look, I'm doing low carb. Y'all don't bring no cookies in here.
As long as it's chargeable.
Miss Quinn asked if we wanted the city to send some food down to of course, y'all know that Adrian Brown did pass. He was a volunteer fighter for Vernon. She thought maybe since there's kids there, that maybe we could just send some pizzas down so that the kids would have something if the city wanted to do that. And she also, the fire department sending flowers and the city sending flowers. And those are already, Miss Vicky's making those. So, if y'all want me to get some pizzas, we can get them down there for tomorrow evening for supper or
I don't
something.
know.
I don't have a problem.
Okay, next, the fire department had $600 budgeted for their Christmas party. They didn't have a Christmas party. He wanted it to divide it up amongst the 8 of them, but Miss Gwen said that since there was 8 of them and it was $600, could we bump it to $2 more $100 so they would each get $100? And they used their gas and their time to be volunteer.
I have no
So,
problem.
I don't have to.
okay. So far in property taxes, well, the trend was good. Y'all, after that special meeting and that whole fiasco, that was good, and we've gotten a little over 70,000 so far in.
Okay.
Joey, you already talked about the trees. I looked at plaques for the trees, and they're running around $120 a piece for an outside plaque that is gonna last and stay there. So
What are the plaques for?
The tree.
the trees, there's a tree to represent like Miss Norvell, it was 4 people.
This, it's for, plant 4 trees we dug up out here, crepe myrtles. We've been checking on prices, and I told Candace, you know, check on the light, put lights on them where they light up.
And we can get
Anyway,
solar
I'm gonna
lights
dis-
for that.
I'm gonna discuss it at the end, that's the number 10.
Okay.
Number 10.
But I just want to say that that's about what the plaques are running unless I can find them somewhere cheaper. Shady Grove Park is not used as a ballpark anymore, basically. I don't know what the rules are, but, someone brought to the attention that there's one, it's not a pavilion, pole barn out there that they have parties under, but they don't, you know, nobody reserves it, so they decide they're having a birthday party at Shady Grove, they go out there and have it. So it suggested that, maybe we do another pole barn out there, so if 2 people showed up, and then could it be turned into a park instead of a ball field, since it's not used for a ball field
I
anymore?
don't think so. When that was built
No,
with grant.
Now, 'cause you're gonna,
There is still one ball field there.
you need to keep back, cause we
Yeah,
have more
yeah.
kids growing.
I think that we still have, or.
I think it's an agreement with the county,
You know, like
correct?
with
I thought so, but I'm
May-
just going by
Yeah.
what people asked
It
me.
may be out of date, but I had somebody contact me about, on the opposite side of that spectrum, about the ball fields the other day, so I'm not sure, but I don't think that we can get rid of, because
I don't think
grant
so
money was
either.
used to put that in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they remodeled the field too with that grant money.
And then I thought that way, I was just asking, and what about the pole barn? Do y'all have any interest in adding another area for picnics there?
As much as we got going on with sewer and water and paving and all that.
I don't know
Okay.
that we can afford it right now.
Alright, and then,
When people won't use the bathrooms, are they still coming to get the key from you and giving
so
you
we
the
haven't,
name?
nobody has even asked, but we do
Swap.
have one scheduled for June, and I
Okay.
told them, because they actually called and asked, and of course, we don't know who's gonna show up for a party that day. But we told them if they want the bathrooms, we'll make sure the bathrooms are clean and usable for that party, because they actually called and asked. But we've not given out the key to those bathrooms to anybody since we've been here.
Okay.
Okay, I feel so awkward asking, but on Wednesdays and Thursdays for a little bit while I'm handling a situation, could I take a long lunch and come in early and so I can get my situation figured out? I take long lunch sometimes anyway, so I don't have overtime, but I didn't wanna,
I don't have a problem with that.
okay.
I don't have a problem.
We need to set the the voting dates for when we're gonna have an election. Cause I think there's
Second Tuesday in March,
second Tuesday in
the
March.
mayor's supposed to call for that. I believe it's the second, according to our charter, it's the second Tuesday in March.
When am I supposed to call for it tonight?
You don't have to do it tonight, we just have to do it in a timely manner or advertise.
Can we buy some signs and put out around town so people will know?
Well, it's usually advertising everything
Yeah, but
too.
I don't, I don't go on, I don't read the county paper, nothing like that. I don't even go on the computer to read it. But a lot of the local people, older people are not gonna know.
Just some of the stick in the ground city
Dig in the
election.
ground. But some of your older people will know.
Candace, if nobody has any objections, just set it for the next regular meeting for him to call for it. That's plenty of time, isn't it, Michelle? No?
No, because we won't have another meeting until February, third week in February. That's not enough time, is it?
I don't think so. You'll want to talk to the supervisor elections one.
Yeah, I don't think that would be enough time.
So we either have to, it has to be done tonight, or we'll have to call a special meeting.
Yeah,
Yes, because we have missed this deadline before.
yeah, I don't want it to be on my back. Y'all do what you want to, but I said it out loud, hey, we need to call for a meeting.
I put it on the agenda tonight,
Number 11,
That's fine.
right now, what you want me to say? I will mess it up.
Michelle, it is the second Tuesday, isn't it?
What's the date?
14. 14.
the 14th,
When's the election?
It's the second Tuesday.
the second Tuesday's the 14th, so it'd be March 14th.
March 14th.
But there's something that you have to do. I've had to draft an ordinance, an emergency ordinance twice now to reschedule your election because we didn't make that deadline.
While Michelle is looking for that, because I know there's people here wanting to address the council tonight. The city has a little 10,000 some odd dollars that's been sitting in a FEMA account for several years, like 6 years. The accountant said that we can use that money because that project was closed out as long as Michelle said it was fine. And that could go towards, the sewer plant if we wanted to, since we've had so many emergency things, I'm having to transfer money from general to water sewer to pay bills.
So we could use that as fill-in for something.
Yes, and it's almost $11,000. And then also the money in the city hall fund, if y'all wanted to go ahead and fix this floor and get it over of being a liability.
Do we have money in the city hall? Get some prices.
If I could get some prices on that.
And Michelle, did you say that we were clear to use the 11,000 out of the old FEMA account?
It's old FEMA money, it's like 6 years old, it's been sitting in a FEMA account, not touched. And Lee said, yes.
I mean, the federal government can come back like 10 years after a project and de-obligate and make you pay back. So I hate to give you an opinion on the fly.
What was the project?
I did go back and look, it was from 2017. Or the last monies was deposited in there in 2017.
So this is probably.
And they usually do a
400.
reimbursement, so the way I see it, we paid it and then they sent it back. Cause see, we're still waiting on all these projects to be,
Obligated.
yeah,
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, if it was reimbursement.
yeah. Cause that's how they do it, right? Because we have to submit,
Yeah, that's the real.
because we've asked for extensions on this and that. So it's just sitting there.
It's no longer drawing interest or anything.
No, it's just sitting there for 6 years, just there. When we're having all these emergency things on the sewer, that could go back towards that. That's all I got. That was enough, wasn't it?
All right, so yes to the second Tuesday of March.
Okay.
I'm still trying to figure out, I know there was some,
Well, you could let them, you could just tell me. If you want to tell me. Or I could go look at it. If I could look at the chart.
Michelle, do you have to set the qualification dates?
that may be it.
I think
Yeah.
that's probably it.
Because it's so many days before that, right?
I think it's 30 days, isn't it?
I would know if I had the charter, I could look at the charter.
I do the charter.
Okay. And just so, oh, I will tell y'all while she's looking for that. We sent a check for the fire department grant. They got their equipment, $45,000 plus dollars. They got their equipment. We sent the check out to pay for it, and almost at the same time as we sent the check out, the state reimbursed us for that. So, and the fire department was officially formed on May 27th, 1964, if anybody's asking, because it took a little bit of time to find that.
I remember that.
You remember that?
That's what I'm giving about.
Well, he said, hey, I've got everything, you're good to go, except for I need the meeting from the minutes when the fire department was formed.
Given because.
I got pneumonia that week, just so y'all know, because I was digging in those books.
We just blew the siren because we had one.
Your heyday, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's ready.
Do you have anything else? Well, she's looking for that recreation report. Did he send anything new?
No, haven't heard from him.
He just don't come anymore to the meeting?
I'm sending him a message today and said, don't forget we have a meeting at 5:30. I've not heard anything.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah.
A little bit.
They need to show up, somebody.
They're supposed to.
They're supposed to, and they've been told,
Don't go telling me can't use that back there.
they've been told that they're supposed to be here or send a representative or let Candace know. so
Let
that-
Candace know, what's the council.
But that, I mean, that's been the normal with him the whole time.
But he doesn't have a night job.
He needs to be at the next workshop for sure.
Public Works report.
The only really thing, two things, we got all the DEP stuff almost done, but two things, right? Two things, well, I haven't it done. We done the bore on Spoon Mill, finally got it done. That's it, really. I'll tell you all about the parking lot when we cover that.
What about, the street by the sewer plant? I can't call the name of it, it's closed.
We haven't done up to that yet.
You gonna get prices on piping and all around there?
Oh, yeah. At the sportsplex, me and Gary was talking about it, now how we're having problems with the sewer thing. How about I get some prices on boring the road, me and him have discussed it. Boring a new bore across the road, redo all that. Because if not, I don't know what we're gonna do when it gets ball season.
But that's the only option.
It's either that or put in a septic tank.
You don't wanna do that.
And we don't wanna do that. They Trey called, charged us $800 to do that more, which everybody else is around 2,000 to talk to, so. I'll see, we'll go from there.
Get some prices.
Okay, that's it. Okay.
Fire chief's report.
He had to go to he's at a convention, I think. He just had to leave at 1 o'clock today. They're going to be at, he'll be back Friday evening. The fire department's going to represent the city and the fire department to Adrian's funeral. That he got the grant, so they've got their new, stuff. They did have an issue. I think another fire department moved a truck that didn't
Mhm.
run, but he contacted the county to get the other fire department to pay that towing bill so that the city, so he stays on top of all that, his reports are all the time, he's already just filed his.
Yeah, that was a fire on or around New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. They were helping, Greenhead, I believe. Somebody from one of the other fire departments moved a truck, a burning truck. When they moved it, they stuck it. And it didn't need to be moved. There was no notification. They didn't say, hey, somebody from Vernon moved the truck. It's one of those situations. And so they have agreed to pay the tow fee so it wouldn't cost Vernon.
I think that's all from him, but everything's going good. They do have the 8 volunteers, and we did get something about another grant today, and I'll send that to him, but he's at the convention, so he won't have it.
Public participation.
That's you.
You want, you said the cemetery?
Yes.
Okay. I thought she was gonna handle this.
What, is this about the cemetery committee? I called for public participation, but it's also on here.
Oh, so, never mind, you can't talk yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yes,
can.
yes,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I can't hear too well, so forgive me. A little dark humor to start with, perhaps. Just a little bit. Maybe you need to do a little recruiting for cemetery committee. A lot younger people. And Mr. Pippin would argue with me, but he and I probably got one foot in that cemetery.
Come on now.
He'll argue about it. Honestly, I'm telling the truth. You need some younger people, and we kind of need some direction. To me, that cemetery, for 70-something years, has just been where my people are, where my good friends, my family. I don't know anything about the history of it. I don't know who it belonged to. It was just a cemetery. As far as I knew growing up, it was God's cemetery, you know. That's where we put our people. A lot of good history there. But honest to goodness, I don't know who owned it originally. I don't know how we came by it. I guarantee you, the young people, if you recruit them, the next cemetery committee won't know either, unless it's in writing. That's where I'm going with this. If we can possibly run back some kind of a history about the ownership of it, you know, a little brochure, a little pamphlet that we could give to the committee members. Rhonda knows more than I do. The other committee member is there. He's already passed on, you know, and like I
He's
said,
talking about
it's been
Elton.
nice. Huh?
You're talking about Elton, just so
Talking
they
about
know.
And it's Connie that's on it. She's from Indiana, and she has no clue who the people are, you know, none of the history. So, am I making any sense? Could we give a history, something that I could give to people? She and I got blindsided the other night. Both of us did, about a situation with one of the plots that I didn't think there was any problem with whatsoever. To me, on that, that's the north end, isn't it? We got a bunch of Brocks, we got a bunch of Russes, we got some Taylors, we got some Cooks, we got some more Russes, and that's just the way I thought it was supposed to be. That it was staked out and claimed long, long years ago. By what means, by what legality, I have no clue. It's just understood. The controversy involved that lower end near the little thing where you throw the stuff away.
Yep.
Whatever you want to call that, junk bin. Yep. Got some good metal in it for once in a while, though. But anyway, in my mind, that was always to be Russ's. The family had staked that out. They had put metal stakes down years ago. And that's what it was all about. The family got really upset because apparently it had been marked off. They thought that she had done it, and she did not do it. I don't know who did, don't really care. You know, it doesn't matter. But in my opinion, that's theirs. Anyone that, you know, old timers here that, you know, we think we own it, or we have it, in our namesake, they should be grandfathered in and not have to pay to be buried here, No, I won't be. I won't be paying to be buried in what I think was mine anyhow, you know what I'm talking about. We need policy, I guess is where I'm going. We need history, we need guidelines, and we need some policy. And I don't have any. Do you have anything in writing?
No, we don't have anything in writing, and Michael does have a point about us bringing up the history that we know. We've talked about it in council meeting. However, he and I are in total disagreement about the payment. And this council has already voted that from this point on, if you get buried there, it has to be paid.
Me and the Russes?
You, everybody.
No,
Whoever
don't
gets
do that.
planted has to pay now. The council's already voted on that, Michael.
Well, that's kind of like, I kind of see your side, Mr. Brock. They've already been staked out. Is the city doing anything additional?
But the stakes aren't there anymore.
Here's the problem, and I agree with, I get the grandfather in, and I don't want nobody to take this wrong. The problem is when the city, when I got hired on here as a laborer, we mowed and weeded there twice a month. So there were spots staked out like he's saying, but there was 300 stakes out there. People just went out there and put stakes, so nobody knew whose was whose except for those people, and so you could only go by what they said. So when Hurricane Michael came, most of that was blown away. And my previous supervisor would just, if it was laying on the ground, we threw it away. We didn't, that's the way it was. So, I
Well, I
mean,
think that one of the reasons the council decided to charge
Yeah.
something was because of the maintenance, because we've had to hire a
And
company to go out there.
I agree with you.
Paying
I
somebody
mean,
to mow.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're and I don't want to call you, they're the young people of this world. So, I mean, I agree they should be grandfathered in, but I mean, that's just my
The
opinion.
family that was questioning it all didn't know anything about the policy, didn't know anything about it having been approved by the council. They didn't know that anything about putting a boundary out, the coping out.
Right.
But they said to me, we intended to do that. I mean, that wasn't an afterthought on their behalf. They said, we intended to, in the process of getting the coping, to mark theirs off. Is that legitimate? What they thought was serious. If not, y'all gonna be in a lawsuit. That's all there is to it. I know the family, and I know they're gonna do it.
Well, we didn't own it back then.
I know
We
what
were
he's
talking about, right?
It was, the city's just acquired that in the last 3 years.
It's awesome.
So it,
Maybe we,
Probably don't have a leg to stand on, but do you have the time, and do you want to invest the money into dealing with it? That's my point.
But how do you stake off
I think,
a plot?
I think we need to go back and look. I know what you're talking about, Mr. Brock. I talked to him. I was supposed to meet him. He didn't show up. I stayed 30 minutes after he
That's
told
why
me.
I say it's gonna be a lawsuit.
He didn't show up because I just told him, I said, sir, I don't know, were you talking about the cemetery? What in the cemetery? I said, we got issues on both ends of that cemetery. And I said, sir, we didn't own that cemetery. And I explained the whole thing to him. And I knew he'd got out of line with Miss Rhonda. But the thing was, I told him, I said, listen, we have a board that's over at cemeteries trying to plot that cemetery, trying to keep from burying people on top of people out there. I said, it's not just the city cemetery. I said, but is there anywhere you go? I said, you got concrete markers that stuck up, got broke off by the first lawnmower that broke it off. And it got chunked to the side. But like the council has come to the conclusion, I have no problem grandfathering people in, just like we grandfathered people here with travel trailers and all before, and wells and issues like that. But the thing is, we have to come to somewhere. We have to come to a certain, because we got issues of surveying. We got a company hired that keeps that cemetery mowed now. Jason knows it takes 4 hours just weed eating now. But the thing is, I have no problem with grandfathering people in as a council member, but they gonna have to, the city and the council's gonna have to agree of some other way of marking the property, the boundary line. Having the owners go ahead and coat the grave, or something like that, then it's properly marked, but putting a piece of pipe down, putting a rope around it, or anything like that is in the past. Cause, the lawn care people is gonna remove it, or the next individual, so, you know, if you buried by the rocks and there's a rust, well, we just taking that down, we're gonna take one spot, we need an extra spot. That's what's happened over the years, and there's no, just like the city of Vernon, we hoping in the future we get more land from Mr. Hicks and them at the other end, but that's down the road. But there's so many people, you know, there's so much room out there, and I understand where you came from. You know, you've lived all your life here. You taught all of us in school, a lot of us. And I have no point in going back and grandfathering people in. I don't as a council member, but we're gonna have to redo that because
So what does grandfather mean in this situation?
Well,
Are you saying they don't have to pay the 300?
who, Mr. Brock?
Yeah.
We'll have to go back. That's, as a council member, that's what I'm saying. We need to go back and look what we approved, to me now.
Because once we pass this though, we've told everybody, I
Yeah.
mean, Mitchell's have been buried, Boswell's been buried, we charged them the $300.
Yeah.
That fee's for perpetual maintenance. I mean, it
Yeah.
goes to support the maintenance upkeep of the
That's what we
cemetery.
voted on.
I would grandfather anybody in. You have no way to establish that these people have any interest at all in anything out of the cemetery. There were no cemetery deeds. There's no plots, nothing.
No, actually, I think it was just when the city took over. I know the way it used to be, there was a sheet and it had a name in a box and a name and a space and a name and a space, and that was the way that it was kept up with. And
And I've never seen that.
And I can't find it.
it was like a drawing, a written out drawing. I remember seeing it years ago, but it wasn't. The city didn't have control of it then.
My concern would be, if you allow people to go out there and say, I staked out, this is my plot, but somebody's already buried there, you're gonna have a problem.
We got a machine to if anybody buried there.
And nobody has a legal, nobody has a legal right to be buried out there. They just don't. It's just, there's no legal right to use any of that property. Nobody has.
Well, and I'm assuming going forward, let me ask you, Ms. Rhonda, when somebody is buried out there, like if they go out there and pick a spot and they're buried in there, is there some sort of documentation of that now?
No, but we need to do that.
That's on the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
We need to do that.
You need, cause I got, like mine, I got
I
9
think that
spots.
we're not
You
selling
look, 'cause I got
plots
documentation.
unless somebody's ready to be buried.
We just had 2 people come in and make a payment so that they would have a plot.
And I made that suggestion to them because we'd already had this situation. And so I asked them to go ahead and put their coping down and to go ahead and pay. And they're paying toward it, they didn't have the amount of money. But it can be paid when they are buried, or whatever y'all say, but if you're gonna say now that some people are gonna be grandfathered in, meaning they don't have to pay that maintenance fee,
And
then you've gotta go back
I
and
see where this
refund
is
the
coming
ones
from.
that have already,
Ms. Brock, let me ask you, what you were here about tonight was
ones
because
have to.
somebody thought that they had a place and their markers were moved. Am I correct on that? That they had it set out and they were moved? Is that the issue?
Well, they don't wanna pay. I spoke to them too.
So
Several
The
times.
payment is the issue.
the
They
maintenance
don't
issue,
wanna
not the
pay,
place.
and also because a couple other people, from what I understand, have been buried in an area they thought was also their families. They were saying that these people stole their plots, and then they don't wanna pay.
Yeah, they even said that Peels stole 4 of their plots. Well, they didn't have plots.
I think we need to.
We ought to do it like they do at New Hope. Like I got documentation for my 9 spots. I mean, well, 8 now,
Yeah,
Mama's got
we need
one
to
of them.
document.
Well, I got
I got mine too.
in some way.
What kind of
We're
documentation
gonna
do
be
you
in
have?
I couldn't find a
Got
map.
this
survey down.
I didn't
It's
look.
got, they have what they're talking about, it's a paper and it's got the spots, and it's got my
the whole
spot on my
cemetery.
thing.
Supposed to be,
Yep.
yeah.
That's what we need.
Yeah,
Did it not?
I'll get your receipt.
yeah.
Chase, have you done anything with the ground penetrating radar out there?
What I've been doing is when they get a spot, now I've done most of it. From with the road that cuts through to the woods, I've done all that. All that is good. So what we've done is as people's got spots and marked them, I went out there and done it. Cause I have one.
Putting it on any kind of drawing or anything?
I mean, if that's what y'all want to do, I mean, I can, but
Yeah, I would recommend that you do
I
that.
mean, I got one that I don't know who it is. I found one.
Okay.
Well, if this family comes back to us, what do we say?
Our meetings are the first and third
That's what I want to hear.
Monday of
Yeah.
the month.
It's not our responsibility at this
No,
point
sir.
at all. It never was, right?
Yeah.
I
If
don't
they
know.
gotta fuss at somebody, they're gonna have to come fuss at us. don't they?
I don't know what our, what would you call it? What we're supposed to do.
Duties, our
Yeah,
duties.
What our duties are, I really don't. That's the first I've had to deal with any family about it. I'm not a good candidate to be on your cemetery committee, because I didn't know you had the policy at all. Okay, I'm done. You got anything else to say? I'll send them to you again.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Brock.
you,
Yes.
Mr. Brock.
You look good since you retired.
26 and 19.
Looks are deceiving.
I know they're not.
Number 2, street grants.
So I reached out to FDOT about this because Yellow Jacket Drive is a stop grant. And, we applied for it after the CDBG for Church Street and got it before. So, I did reach out to them, found out that we can have more than one going, more than one open. And, since there is the possibility that there may not be funds left over to do Church Street, I wanted to find out if we could apply for Church Street and maybe, cause you can put in multiple streets and they'll approve what they approve. But Church first, and then maybe Cook Circle and School Mill. But it's gonna cost money because the engineer has to do it.
What did Fred Rock say? Yeah,
Fred's not the one that does it. Adele's the one that did the
Yeah,
one
but
for
I-
Yellow Jacket. I haven't asked him at all.
We apply for something else. With that.
Well, it's fine because there was three parts to the
parts of it,
CDBG. And if we don't use the money for church, we can go to the next step, is what I understood from, but I will check with him on it.
The wells are first.
Right.
And some of that,
It was the Wells Church and the SCADA.
yeah, the SCADA can be dropped down. I'll tell you, that SCADA system is gonna cost the city a pile of money over a long
Yeah,
time.
I've been told that
A pile of
too.
money.
Yeah,
We don't, I can tell you right now, you don't.
I thought it was part of that we had, was required, we had, it's going to go into me either way, so
It's,
I'll sleep now anyway.
from what Jimmy has said, it's not
Yeah.
gonna be feasible
And we don't have
in
to
the
do
long
this.
run.
I thought it was, we had, the reason why we done it, wasn't it, because we had to have it or something, the SCADA?
SCADA system.
The DP, we had to, that was a failure, right? Or we
This-
inspected us, the SCADA system.
We do not have to install it.
Oh, you're talking about the grant y'all got for the
Yeah.
generators and SCADA?
Yeah.
I knew nothing about that until y'all were awarded it, so, I mean, it's news to me.
No, the question is, do we need that system? And how much extra is it gonna cost us to upkeep and maintain?
The way I understood it back when Dale was talking about it is you got to pay for another phone line for every
Yeah.
single location, so it's
It'll
gonna
be
cost a
cell-
lot.
It'll be cell phones,
Yeah, but a cell phone line for every location.
every location, and
11 of them.
I've
Yeah.
done that for you and gave you the numbers on that.
I
Yeah.
can dig it up.
Well, you're looking at the SCADA system they offered you, and don't quote me on this, it's about $24,000 worth of maintenance a year. That's usage maintenance, and the SCADA system they gave offered an extended warranty. Basically, you pay that every month. No matter what happens, they'll fix it. So I assume y'all probably want that, and there was 2 levels, but they were both 20 to 25,000. They were all right up in there.
Yeah, so that, for that, it's an additional cost every month.
Yeah.
And we don't have the money for it.
So, but that grant is still in process. How do can we
They also-
get part of it and not deal with that?
We use most of it on the wells and savings. Dale says we do not have to have a SCADA system.
Okay.
But that'll be a point for that too.
The generators at each.
Well, they already
each
told me
station
that there's no way
part
there
of
would
that.
be any money left for that system anyway, because of the cost of the wells.
Okay.
And there might be enough money to pay a little bit of Church Street is basically what he told me.
Okay.
Well, do it at Larry Pippen's house, please.
Yeah.
No, well, that's what I'm asking, if
That's all I
we
ask.
can, if
Y'all
we
can pay it, hey,
can
from
apply
How would you there?
for other
And I'll be
stuff.
happy.
Because the other, but we'll
I
have
tend
to
to call
pay
Gary
it
now.
on his fees, just like we did for Yellow Jacket Drive.
Yeah.
Before we got awarded it, he still came out, did all the engineering to apply for that grant. And which streets do you want? Church, obviously, if we don't get it, we don't get it. But,
Church and, don't worry about school, let's get that
Let's just get
other.
church.
but Cook Circle's horrible,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so Church and Cook Circle would be the 2, okay, and I'll call her back tomorrow. That's it on those.
Blue Cross rebate.
We're just gonna run it and run it and run it. But there was a letter, it was in y'all's packet, it's the letter that, the employees from that year got from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. And Michelle just walked out, but she's the one that said to put it back on the agenda.
It's just a little over $400. It's split up between how many employees?
It's probably be $80-some, around $80-some a piece.
The time that Candace has had to spend dealing with this back and forth email with this person.
I kind of dropped the ball,
Yes.
the ball on this one.
Yeah. I will say no for many obvious reasons, but I think it's probably in the best interest that we just go ahead and split it up and let them have it and be done with it
That's fine.
and let it go.
That's fine.
You can get hers in pennies and I'm here too.
I'll get that check done tomorrow if you can come by and pay that. While we're talking about that though, we did have another unemployment claim filed by Mr. Rader. And I did go in and fill out the paperwork to deny that and just put in the reason. I have not heard back on that.
Number 4, bus drivers, they want the Christmas at the community center?
Yes, they had it this year. They said it was the best time they've ever had, the best location they've ever had it
I
at.
was gonna say, wait a
Everything
minute,
was
what
so
I mean.
nice.
Oh,
They wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you, and they wanted it again this Christmas. And she wanted me to ask y'all tonight, because they want to go ahead and start planning.
What date during Christmas?
They didn't have it. They'll take whatever's they can have. We could pick, Miss Vicki can look at the calendar and pick it and tell them.
I don't have a problem.
Okay.
I don't know.
Number 5, community center door.
It is falling off the hinge at this point. I've contacted a few places to get prices because I know it's gonna be the frame, it's gonna be the whole thing, it's a metal door, it's rusted out. It's a danger at this point.
The law says something's going
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
Soon, but
because on Tuesday night, when all those kids are going in, the other thing, all those basins in the bathroom, hardly any of them are really attached to the wall. And I know that you're talking about getting, you can pull them right with you.
center?
Yes. Now, I've been going into
I
boys'
need to take a
bathroom.
day and just walk this whole place over.
You really should.
we don't need one today.
Yeah, it's,
When you wonder why it's standing still.
well, they were caulked on, and whoever bounces on them or anything, they pulled them away from the wall. But it's just a matter of time before one of those bad boys falls too.
Yeah, we can't. We-
But can
Everybody
I get
put the
approval to
bill
go
in.
ahead and get a door, or,
We did it before, I don't know if we approved it.
well, it's in the
asked for
grant,
quotes
it's
to be gotten.
listed in the grant, but y'all, we gotta have a door before somebody knocks their
Yes,
toe off, and I'm
yes.
not joking.
Yes.
Well, because I pulled it open and the whole front of it just came down.
Yeah, also.
Okay. All right.
Tractor trailer and side-by-side loan agreement.
I had that in your packet, y'all approved 40,000. The total price is 54,000. If y'all are going to do the 54, we have to have it on a vote and who's going to sign. They have to have that in the minutes for the loan. Or are we just
That's for
gonna do the
everything.
40?
That's for everything, side by side and everything.
Huh?
Kubota won't finance the interest free?
They can't because we're a municipality, so they don't have anybody to hold accountable, is what they said.
Yeah.
So we approved 40.
And it's
Yeah.
54 to get the whole deal.
That's everything though. That's side by side too.
That's the trailer,
Everything.
That's
gravel
everything.
bucket,
Yeah.
bush hog.
Yep.
I know we didn't approve the 40, what's the pay, it's 498, 500. That's five.
It was in your packet, I don't even remember what it was. But I also only told them a 5-year
Let's see.
because one will still be paying on it and it wore out.
And the interest rate is 7.5. Okay, so this needs to be added as number 12, because we have to vote on
Was on here as number 6.
it. Okay, I'm sorry. Can I have a motion then to approve?
I made a motion to approve.
Second,
I'll second
discussion.
You gotta have who's gonna be the signer. You need to just say that out loud in this meeting. Mayor,
The mayor's gonna sign. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Number 7, Miss Vicky.
Oh, neither of you are working right. Excuse me, gentlemen. Okay, I'm new at this, so I gotta get some direction from y'all. First of all, the first thing that's supposed to happen, as far as I know, is the rec opening day. I talked to Tim, he says it's tentatively scheduled for April 1st. Their vaccines happening. When I get a confirmed date, I will go to the school and see if I can line up the color guard and someone out of the drama team to do the national anthem. And I was going to see if some of the clubs would like to work the concession stand for community hours. But I don't want to do all that till I know that it's April 1st. Second thing is the Easter egg hunt. I need to know what y'all want. I'm not a last minute person. So I'm working on this and the firecracker day. But I need to know what y'all want and I need a date scheduled. Now, Easter is April the 9th. I don't know if y'all do it the Saturday before, or if you do it a week before, or whatever. So I need some directions.
I think we did it on the 10th last year.
well, I
Is that the Saturday before Easter or the week before, the day before?
Good question.
Because Easter is on the 9th.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure last year's was April the 10th, which was a Saturday. I think we normally do it on the second Saturday in April. Am I wrong in that? Do y'all remember?
I think so.
Easter was the 18th and 22.
Yeah, we didn't do it.
The second Saturday would be the Saturday before Easter.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
day before.
If Miss Gwen was here, she would know the answer to this. But I'm pretty sure it was April 10th last year.
whatever date we choose, she's setting this all up, we need to stick to the same dates every
Yeah,
year.
that's what I'm thinking.
Well, Easter changes, Easter
Yeah.
changes is the only issue with that.
So, but if we stick with the second Saturday in April,
Well, sometimes Easter's in March.
Sometimes, yes, in March.
so we're gonna have to,
Every year we're going to.
every year we're gonna have to make a decision.
Why don't you just say the Saturday before, the week before, instead of the Saturday right before?
You can say 2 Saturdays before
Yeah,
Easter,
yes.
that takes care of it.
That takes care of it.
Won't that put it on the same day as the opening day of baseball?
Yeah, that's what I was fixing to say.
That's what we run into every year.
Good answer.
Every year, that's what we run into. It is the opening day falls on that Saturday.
I'm listening.
Well, I was fixing to say, hey, that ain't gonna work.
That was funny.
So, when is opening day?
It's the first, and then you have the 8th.
We think,
Well, yeah, tentatively, he said it's the first. And then you have the 8th, and then Easter's the 9th.
Who sets opening day?
Tim, I
Yeah.
guess.
we think.
He's the rec director.
For the
He's supposed
county
to
or
handle
just
it.
for the city?
For the city.
No, he's the rec director for the city of
City.
Vernon. And he's telling you opening day,
He says tentatively the first. He's got to run it by his board.
Candace, put in a phone call tomorrow and make sure that the rec director is at the next workshop. No excuses, no, I can't be there unless he's sick or injured or in the hospital. He needs to be at the next meeting. Please, ma'am.
We do.
So you're doing something for opening day as well?
The only thing I'm doing for opening day is to line up the color guard and the national anthem and the concession stand workers.
Because the
That's a
city
lot.
could make a lot of money on opening day with the
Yeah.
concession stand if there's actually people that work
Yes,
it.
ma'am, and I really appreciate what you're doing.
And he is supposed to do all the other stuff and line up the players and the,
Okay, and Easter is on the 9th this year, am I correct in that?
yes, ma'am.
So either we do it on the 2nd or the 16th after Easter, and I hate to put that much pressure on you, but I think we need to do it on the 2nd. I think it needs to be.
Well, the
before.
second's a Sunday, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm sorry.
The only Saturday before Easter is the 8th,
The 8th.
and that's the day before Easter.
The day before, okay.
You only have two Saturdays before Easter, the 1st and the 8th.
So
So
the
the
8th
8th.
makes more sense.
Yeah,
Okay, so we're doing the 8th. What are y'all, I've never been, so I don't know what they usually do. I know they have the Easter egg hunt. Is there anything else?
We usually do like a hot dog basket type thing.
Like a brown bag thing?
Yeah.
yeah, like so what is it, chips or water, Coke, and hot dog, I think is what they were doing.
Okay, and y'all have gifts donated to give away at the Easter egg hunt? Yes, no?
Yes, we do.
Easter
They
basket
got bicycles and
donations, I
stuff
think.
donated.
Yeah, didn't Tim head this up last year and had all the kind of prizes for each
Used to do it.
group, age group of the different
Well, I
Easter egg
know
hunts?
Chad and Stephanie did a lot of the gathering of the donation. I have learned that.
And previously, Oline did a lot with the baskets and all of that organization too.
Now, to clarify, it is still the rec's job. She's just organizing it so that it, I just
Yeah,
want to
so-
clarify that.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he'll need to, he'll still be handling that. I do know that when Miss Oline was with us, that she did the Easter baskets and stuff like that. That was just her part of giving back to the community.
So I just need to get with Tim and see what I need to do. Is he over Firecracker Day too?
Well, Yeah,
Okay.
pretty
so
much.
just
I mean,
get-
we direct what's to go on, and there's gonna have to be a little bit more direction on our part, because we handle the fireworks and he handles the rest of it.
Okay.
And last year there was,
Yeah.
there's supposed to be vendors and bouncy houses, and the concession stand is supposed to be fully stocked and open. Those things he is responsible for doing. But again, we're gonna have to have a conversation with our rec director.
Okay, well, let me ask one more question then, since y'all, I'll get, after y'all talk to him, and then I'll get with him. Christian Burge, I think he's entertainment. Candace said that he usually does the entertainment. And so he came in and I asked him, and he wanted to know if that was confirmed or if it was to be confirmed. So I guess, do I need to ask y'all or do I need to ask Tim?
No, it's,
No, it's normally we say who the entertainment is,
Yes, but
and I agree on a price, because he gives us a price, or whoever we choose.
we want to look around for somebody else and get prices.
I can do that.
Yeah, we can see. He did it last year. Somebody else did it the year before, I think. Cypress Springs did it one year.
Yeah, a couple years.
hell no, it's been a while.
Yeah,
That's Cypress Springs.
yeah.
Okay,
So, yeah, just get some, normally we have somebody local,
okay. All right,
but the day of the fireworks is set and all that, so.
Yeah,
yes,
that check has been cashed.
yes. All right.
Just so y'all know.
Okay, look, one more question, I'll leave you alone. I promise. Do y'all do the, firecracker beauty pageant still?
We, Miss Eileen did that. Her daughter was gonna do it last year and was not able to do it. We need to find somebody that will do that and carry that on. But it doesn't need to be so close to the 4th of July, because it's always fell in a line around Watermelon Festival, and it needs to be backed up, like to the previous month or something, you know.
It needs to be at least a month before.
Yeah, May, 1st of June at the latest, that way it's not with something else, but we do need to continue that, if we
Okay.
can find somebody to direct it.
My next question was, if we do that, can we, I know I keep asking questions, can we call it maybe Laura Brewer Memorial Firecracker Pageant? Pull Miss O'Lean in?
I think that would be perfect.
And I had thought about asking Miss Lori if she would help, if she's able to help again. Just,
Yes, ma'am.
like I said, I'm not a last minute person, so I want to get all my ducks
Oh, I'm
started.
loving it. I'm not about the last minute, especially where the fire department, fireworks is concerned. Trust me. It's been a nightmare.
As long as Jason and Laura are good with that, his sister's good with that.
I am.
You am? Well, I'll get your sister's phone number and ask her. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you very much. And I appreciate you volunteering to do all this.
You should just come organize my office.
Number 9, do I have a motion to approve permanent positions for Deputy Clerk Miss Vicky and City Clerk Candace?
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Second.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Number 9.
This is me, it's a mess, I'm sorry. The FRS system, I'm gonna back up to it, that Chad's FRS had not been going in for months. So I'm trying to straighten that out now. The same situation like with Rose. So I'm talking back and forth with them, trying to get that straightened out. Next, when I did my FRS training, that was like a 2-hour deal, they said that we don't have a senior management position, and we should because we're a municipality and that's typically the clerk. And I asked Michelle about it and she said yes, that I should get it that way. But y'all actually have to advertise in the paper a little ad that says you are advertising for a senior clerk position for me to get senior management
Do
retirement.
we have to advertise that we're looking for one?
No,
Okay, that we're,
that you are creating that position.
They sent us a sample ad.
okay. So that's not nothing that we need to vote on, we just
Well-
agree to.
You should vote to
Yeah.
approve this,
Okay.
yes.
All right, do I have a motion to approve Candace to be the SMSC for the Florida Retirement System?
Make a motion to approve.
I second
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Number 10, Joey. Trees at City Hall.
Oh, great myrtle trees. I checked with Charles, most of y'all know Charles Glover. Anyway, got his degree in horticulture. He deals with trees every day. But a crepe myrtle tree from around 12 to 15 feet is $50, $55, somewhere around that. One from 18 to 20, 22 feet is somewhere between 65 and 75, and above 25 is around 90 to 100. So, when I was talking to him, he said the best time to plant them is now, which I knew that. They dormant, you don't have to water them near as often, and but anyway, he said he'd come plant them for us. There's 3 different colors. The ones you need to plant out here, I told him what we're doing with them. And he said just the council has to agree on what size you want to plant to start off with. But Miss Rhonda has one, a pink one. She'll donate to the city in her yard. That's what, about 15 foot?
At least, it's as tall as the ceiling, I think.
But I was explaining to Miss Rhonda, she said the prettiest, and I don't look at trees. I look at trees, I don't know what they are, some of them, but she said the prettiest crepe myrtle is red. So if we're gonna buy 4, if the city's gonna buy 4 from whoever, I'd put a red one on the outside, get Miss Rhonda's pink one, and I guess the other color's white, right?
The white, what you've already got is white.
But I'd mentioned that Candace, if we're going, which we are in the future, but whoever we get to plant the trees, we need to get plaques and all, and you can get solar lights put on them, light them up at night. But
But we need to agree on the size and get the trees bought and put in now, is what you're saying.
Can I say
Yeah.
something?
Yeah.
Joey, I appreciate what you said, but in reality, because all the other ones are white, then whatever color you choose for down here, all of them should be the same color too, so things will kind of balance. Because they bloom basically the same time.
But I wasn't here when y'all discussed it to start off with, about different colors. It don't matter to me, we get all 4 whites, it don't matter. But, you got a pink one, so you donate the pink one.
I would donate the pink one, but if you're gonna do a pink one, then I'd do all of them, all of the
Pink?
new ones pink. Candace is like me, she likes the red too, and that
I
would
do
go
too.
with the white theme, with your flag and stuff.
Yeah.
I
So,
like the red too.
It would seem patriotic, I think.
yeah, it really would.
We have the white over here, there's 4 of it?
There's at least 4.
Okay, and we put 4 over there in red. Is that agreeable with everybody? What about the size? I know you said $75 was for 15 to 17 foot.
18 to 22.
They grow really fast, so you don't have to worry about having such a big one to
Just right by
begin
my
with.
house and look, they're like 30 foot tall behind my house.
Yeah.
It doesn't take that long for them to grow.
But the main thing, since we don't have but one meeting and then workshop, you drag around,
Well, that's what I'm saying, we can go ahead and take care of it tonight. You're on the
this up to
agenda.
y'all, I was thinking too, and the council, to me, if you go along and put the plaques with it, but, Candace checked on the plaques is 125, we'll be over 500, so we do have to get it approved. but, you know, you're buying 4 trees, you know,
Well, we're at 1,000 now.
Yeah,
1,000, you know, so it's gonna, you ain't gonna spend that on the plaques and the trees. You know, the trees at the most, $75 a piece, if you get the middle ones. So, you know, that's why I went ahead and brought it to y'all tonight, so.
So is this something that we need to agree on since it's not gonna go over the $1,000 purchase policy? So we're all in agreement on,
I mean, unless people are trying to dig it out of her trees.
So what
What's the guy?
colors y'all want?
Red.
All red,
Ren,
4 reds.
or red.
Was it 4 trees you took down? Or
Well, they're
was it
putting
three?
right.
Well, we took down 2 trees and we're putting back 4 on that side.
And that's a longer space on that side.
Yeah, that's what we were doing. And I think we had talked about taking these other ones, the ones that were, the one that broke, all that, taking them down and putting some there too, but I mean, I don't know what, I mean, I'm good with the 4, that's fine, how we got it.
Let's go ahead and do that.
4 red ones. Went 75, around 75.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for the height.
That's fine with me, I'll tell you.
All right. Michelle, on number 11, were you able to find out when the qualifying?
So y'all normally set your qualifying for the first week of February. This is normally the meeting where mayor calls for the election. You set that date, and you set your qualifying date because she needs to. Historically you've advertised twice. And then just wait.
Okay, so the qualifying week needs to be, it has to be a week, right? So February, what?
Sixth through the 10th. That's the first full week.
So, Mr. Mayor, you're calling for city council and mayor election for the city of Vernon for March 14th, 2023, which is the second Tuesday of March, with a qualifying of February 6th through the 10th.
slow down. Qualifying February
You
6th.
could have just said yes.
Yes.
Good enough.
So then at your February meeting, you'll confirm the qualified candidates. Just the list of people who qualify.
Yeah, because our February meeting is the
It'll be the day after President's Day, because I think that's a holiday, that 3rd. I was looking at it today.
Yes, so
it'll be the following.
the 21st. I'm just gonna have a lot of meetings.
Yes, the 20th. So it'll be the
The 21st.
the 21st. Okay.
And which seats are up?
That's a really good question.
Ma'am?
Which seats are up?
Miss Gwynn's and
Miss Gwynn's,
Chad.
Chad's, and mine,
Gwen,
as far as I know, unless there's a four
Becky.
in the mayor.
mayor. Okay. 3 seats in the mayor.
Mhm.
As far as I know.
Okay.
All right. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
We gotta go back to the special meeting.
No.
Sorry.
You have to adjourn this.
I have to adjourn this one first.
Okay.
All right.
I got a question. You gonna hire employees tonight?
Well, I have to close this out and we have to open back up a special meeting. So can I have a motion to adjourn our regular meeting?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second,
I second.
discussion, all in favor?
I don't have a vote, but I can give my opinion.
Okay, meeting adjourned. I'm gonna open back the special meeting for the interviews and hiring process for January 17th, 2023. And we were waiting on a Mr. Creamer who
Didn't show up.
did
to my
not
knowledge.
show. He didn't contact you?
No.
Okay. So, that leaves Borgard, Wise, and Smith, and let me go ahead and say this before we get started. I had a question for the attorney because one of the applicants is my husband's brother-in-law. That, by state law, doesn't affect my ability to speak for or vote for him, according to our attorney. He is not, as the law perceives, my brother-in-law. He is. So I double-checked with her before the meeting. That's what the text was about. I apologize for getting on the phone, but I wanted to let y'all know before anything was said that I know that I was given as a reference on here, and it says sister-in-law, but I wanted to clarify that I am well within my legal right to speak and vote on all of these applicants. Now, Mr. Mayor, you said you had something you wanted to start with.
My opinion, I was kind of scared of that Wise guy with the back issues as it comes and goes. It's tough working in ditches sometimes, and I don't think he'll stay. I know Rusty will stay. I know what it is to work away from home, don't want to be home. Rusty's not lazy. I mean, the deadhead law and things like that he's done up all his life. You gotta be tough. And there's only one other applicant for the other job, so I'm kind of leaning toward the young man.
So we're talking about full-time position right now.
Okay, my opinion would be Rusty.
Does anybody else have anything they want to say about Rusty Buckhorn? Okay, I'm gonna say Gary's right. I don't know him not working. I've known him 35 years. He's a hard worker. He's right here in town. He's a block away.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vernon.
And he had shoes on and not waders.
I was gonna say something too, out loud. I told Gary, he probably, the rest of you my age, he probably knows the background. He probably run around with Snake years ago. So he probably knows.
Well, he was on the fire department. Yeah, he's been here. He's not going anywhere. He owns a home here. They're not.
He'd be a good one. He ain't going nowhere.
He was my number one choice. I'll go ahead and put it out there.
Okay, so on the part-time position, do I have a motion to hire?
I make the motion to hire Russell Bogart for full-time and make them approve that first.
Yes, let's approve it first. Second,
I second.
discussion. All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. On the part-time position,
So the young Logan must be a better choice over what Gary said.
Gary, what were you saying about that?
I would agree with that. I don't think he's gonna, personally, I don't think he's gonna stay long, but you don't have enough of that.
Well, here's my position on him and, Mr. Wise. Mr. Wise, when y'all said what you did, I was kind of concerned about the back issue, although he said it wouldn't be an issue, and I certainly wouldn't want to hold anybody out for that, but with the listings here of his previous employment and all, they're not from around here. I know he said that he lives here, and we don't discriminate. I'm not trying to be discriminatory, but I don't know if we want to hire people that are going to stay, and we've been on one side of this, already in having back employees. I want to make some hires that I believe are going to be here, and I'm just going to be honest on Logan Smith. There is I have a little bit of concern only because he said, that he was looking for another position, and as long as it didn't interfere, he would stay. The other issue I have with that is, he doesn't live in Chipley.
Well, that's just his mailing address.
Okay.
They know.
He
I'll
lives
tell
in
y'all,
Vernon.
Gary
And
knows,
so-
that y'all know. He dates my daughter.
Yeah. So that,
I mean,
and
that's,
I'm just putting it out there. I've met the kid just a few times. I would hope that if we hire him, that he would be willing to stay, even if he took another position, he would keep his part-time hours here. The only other thing I can suggest, between these two that we have to choose from for the position, I would go with Logan Smith, unless council wants to continue to advertise. Out of these two, I think the best choice that we're gonna have is that he is young. He is living in Vernon.
Yeah.
yeah, he does, I mean, that's,
He's got
his mailing
experience.
address is there. He does live with my daughter.
And that, is that who you
And
would
that's,
choose
I didn't want
though?
to put
I
it
just
in
wanted to
there, you know,
clarify.
y'all know, and I told him
Yeah.
that if they was to, I mean, I put it on, if they do get married and I'm still here, he'd have to resign if he was full-time. And he knows that, but I don't, I mean,
I make the motion to hire Logan Smith as a part-time employee.
I second
Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. So, we have a full-time new employee, Rusty Bullard, and a part-time Logan Smith. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Discussion? All in favor? Meeting adjourned.